Hey guys, this is Tarby. I'm going to give a nice little introduction while I go ahead and pick up this plate and bring it into the kitchen. Just going to give you a nice little tour of my apartment. I gotta do dishes. I think it's my turn. You had a shot glass. So my roommate's a big Star Wars fan. Anyway, vacuum. Shears to cut off my roommate's balls if he doesn't pay rent. Anyway, so a couple of quick things before I get into this, because I'm going to be opening this and basically making an ass out of myself. But actually, while I'm talking, I'm going to grab some scissors. Gotta grab some scissors. Knife works. Don't know where the scissors are. But knife works well. So I'm going to go into the gear that I have. This is the third installment of my Tarby talks about his gear bullshit video thing that he's bringing on tour. Because there are a couple of things which I'm not mentioning which are in there. So you probably see a mic stand from here. And you know, we've got the bass amp, which is actually Blues, as is that. And Blue's a good friend of mine. You can find her on stuff. I'll link her shit later. But, so, I've already gone through the 3 guitars there, which I'm bringing. I've gone through my pedals, both here and not there. And I forgot to talk about the amp that I'm using in the last video, because it took 20 minutes to discuss all the little nooks and crannies about these pedals, because I am a gear nut. So, quickly, before I open up this, the amp that we're using is going to be a Line 6, well, that I'm using. We're using 2 Line 6 Spider 4 valves. Spider Valve series, with the either Brugera or Bogner stuff in them. I'll, again, link all that stuff down below. There's an older one and a newer one. Don's using the newer one. We're fixing up the older one, and that's what I'm going to be bringing on tour. But the overall tone of it is great, because not only is it a modeling amp, which gives you lots of tone and stuff, like lots of tone selection to the point where it's actually admittedly kind of intimidating, but it also has built-in tubes. It's an actual tube preamp and tube power amp, I believe. But I'll have to look into that in a bit more specific. I'll do a video just for that later. But for now, gonna go into a bit more detail about this stuff. It's my laptop. It's an HP. I'm gonna be bringing that on the road with me, probably to do samples or recording or stuff. This is my set of strings, which I use all across the board. I use it for both acoustic and electric. It's Hybrid Slinkies. And I like using steel string stuff on acoustics because it allows me to bend it and solo properly. And I like using these because it's a very nice overall tone. It's not too light, not too heavy. And I used to use these when I was playing in exclusively drop D tuning with an old band. Before we started using standard and before I started exploring in alternate tunings. But it's 9 on tops. It goes from high to low, 9, 11, 16, 26, 36, 46. And I used to use a little heavier gauge, which ended in 52, but I found it was a bit too heavy and a bit too much to grab onto. But it's really nice set of strings. I like them. They do wear off a little bit after a while, but they're extremely cheap. Like, they're $5 a pack, which is great. And as I said, I use them all across the board on both my electrics and my acoustic for all tunings, because especially when they're new, if you use them on a drop tuning, especially if it's been tuned to standard for a while, it keeps the tuning, which is great. It doesn't go out of tune. You know, which, especially if it's set properly. But it gives you that sort of loose string tone you hear in like Soundgarden stuff, and I love that. I really do. You know, it makes it sound like it's Spoon Man or something. Or, you know. And so again, that's on all my guitars except for the bass, which is just whatever came stock with the bass, which I think was Diodario strings. I haven't really explored much into them, but I'm thinking of investing in some elixirs, because those apparently last a fucking long time. Kaiser Capo, And my pickup for my acoustic, which is just a Dean Markley Promag Plus. It's a single coil pickup and a wood block, which you put into the sound hole and plug it directly. I put it into an amp so that I'm able to run it through effects, because admittedly if you plug it direct in, it will buzz. But the cool thing about this is if there's a short in the cable, you're able to cut it down. You know, this comes off, it's detachable. And you're able to cut the cable wherever there's a short in it, you think, and you're able to just cut it down and get like an extension or something. Which is great, because it means that this pickup isn't going to die. You don't need to get a new one if you don't have to. I've got two types of harmonica. I've got the Hoodoo Blues by Hohner, which is a C, a D, and a G. I don't know what the cross harp tunings are because I've yet to learn how to play that properly, but I am learning. And I'm also bringing a tremolo thing, a double key 16-hole harmonica, which is in C tremolo because it's got the 2, and G tremolo, which because it's got the 2. And I'm going to bring both because this also has a wider range, but it's a different sound overall because it's got 2 holes on each side. So I need to look into that a bit more, but it is snazzy. And then into the flute, which is a student flute. Oh, I opened it up and down. I don't really know what kind. I believe it's a Yamaha. I don't think so. No, it's a... I don't even know what that is. Gemeinhardt, I believe, in Elkhart, Indiana. That's what it's telling me. Apparently, it's silver up here, and everything else is silver coated, which is good, but it is a cheap flute. It gets the job done, and the only reason I've got it, admittedly, is so that I could play the flute solo on the tour for the Wings You've Earned. So I'm actually learning a fucking flute, an instrument, just so I can play a solo. And I did a video about this on my main channel a little while back. And I still am planning on going through with that. That is something I can do. And I'm going to have a video of me playing it at some point, because I think I finally have the fucking solo down. Thank God. Once I figure out. I think it's supposed to go like this. Yep. Okay. And one last thing. Picks are... Dunlop I use a lot, but my preference is the Dunlop Max Grip, and I use a 1.5 gauge, 1.5 milliliters. I used to use the big stubbies, which were these purple, thick as hell 3mm picks, which were insane. It was like playing with a pointed quarter, and it was nice and thick. You never lost your fucking grip, but they stopped producing them because I think I was the only person who bought them. They were based off of their jazz picks with the stubbies, which are, you know, really small. And same gauge and stuff, same style. It's still the see-through rounded plastic, but it's too small to hold on to for like big rips and stuff. But this is the next best thing in my opinion. Thinking of going because it's like it's a nice grip. You don't lose grip with it because of the rough guard. I don't know if you can hear that, but yeah, it's like you're not letting go of that. And I rarely drop them, but I'm going to be bringing a ton of them. I've got a bunch of backup auxiliary picks that I got in a pick set, which gave me like 50 of them, which I believe were like just random ass fucking picks from wherever. So anyway, I'm actually going to end this video here, because I've talked about all the other stuff, and next is going to be the unboxing of my other guitar, which I got shipped over, and it needs to be fixed. So let's assess the damage. It's a Tarby on what was a 3 and is now a 4-part video to open up my new channel. Alright, stay classy.